I've always had Donkey Kong Land 3 as a kid. I think it's a decent handheld interpretation of Donkey Kong Country 3, but it's nothing to rave about. So when I first played Donkey Kong Land years later, I wasn't expecting much. But rather than getting a watered-down version of Donkey Kong Country, I got an original game. I mean, I was pretty blown away by the existence of a save feature, but that was probably just because I was coming off of playing Super Mario Land. But yeah, Donkey Kong Land has original level themes, and great original music. It's almost like playing a new Donkey Kong Country game. So, with the pleasant surprise of Donkey Kong Land, I was really looking forward to Donkey Kong Land 2, since Donkey Kong Country 2 was my favorite of the series. But it was a massive disappointment. Donkey Kong Land 2 is very simply just an inferior port of Donkey Kong Country 2. The level design is the same, but shorter. The level themes are the same, but in less detail due to the Game Boy's resolution, and the music is the same, except entirely butchered on the Game Boy's 4-bit sound system. The only advantage this game has over the original is that it's portable, but even that advantage was taken away when a better port of Donkey Kong Country 2 was released on the Game Boy Advance in 2004. Granted, that game butchered some of the music too. So to me, there's no reason for the game to exist. If I wanted to play Donkey Kong Country 2, I'd play Donkey Kong Country 2. Imagine if A Link to the Past was released on Game Boy, except there were less dungeons, the map was smaller, there were less items, the music was the same composition but on the Game Boy's sound chip, and so on, but everything else was the same. It would suck. The game has no reason to exist because we'd all played the same game before. Instead, Nintendo put some effort in and made an entirely original adventure, Link's Awakening, and that's one of the greatest handheld Zeldas. But why did Rare put so much effort into the console games and the first Donkey Kong Land game and then just suddenly switch to making inferior ports? I don't know. But I think I can understand why reviewers weren't as critical as Donkey Kong Land 2 as I am. Because if you look at the game without knowledge of its console version, well then yeah, it's actually a good game. But just because a company is good, just because a game is good, it doesn't mean that it's actually good. Imagine if a company made a really good game, like say Super Mario World, and then released that every single year for the same price each year. Maybe the graphics changed a little between versions, but it's still the exact same game. Would the 19th release of Mario World be raved upon by critics? Would the fans eat it up and say that Mario is still thriving and that this 19th release of Mario World with the dazzling yellow overalled Mario is absolutely brilliant? Nah, it would suck. The game would still be good, but it would be purposeless, which is what Donkey Kong Land 2 is. Entirely pointless.